Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel on this Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. I just want to let you know I won some more runner-up entries. I won another honorable, the green one, on the allpoetry.com. There's several of them. I got several entries I won. I've only won one gold. And I'm assuming that's like the first runner-up. But several first entries I won. And I think about 11 of the green honorables I won. So I'm definitely excited about it, but I'm stuck on some things along with that. And what I mean is there's a lot of competition out there between writers. You got the bloggers and you got the vloggers. There's some that do more than the others. I still write all the time, but I'm into vlogging, which is what I'm doing now. I'm having discussions or some videos I do show and tell of what my vlogging is about. Today, the topic description of this video is how to win a creative writing competition. Top tips. For example, Joe Craig is the author of the Jimmy Coates Spy series and judges of the National Short Story Week. Young Writer Competition has some tips for budding young writers on avoiding creative writing pitfalls and how to stand out from the crowd. Read the Promise, the winner of the National Short Story Week Young Writer Competition. This is in 2015. Standing out is hard. Sometimes you just want to blend and stick with whatever everybody else is doing. Creative writing competitions are not those times. I've judged a lot of competitions for young writers, which means I read through thousands of stories, each one trying to stand out, but so many of them fall into the same traps. And that's one of my nervousness and weakness about when I'm writing or trying to put it out there. I get nervous, worried about what this other judge or this reader, this fan's going to say about it, And I shouldn't really worry so much on that. What I should just focus on is getting to that reader, make it more interesting for that reader. If your title don't have a good title, it don't have a good ending, it's not going to have a good story from the beginning, right? So you need your title, you need your beginning, the middle, and ending always in everything you write. And there's just some tips on here. Here are the tips. I find myself screaming into my hands as I read these entries. Each one is understandable, mistake, and most of them don't come up in English lessons at school. Standing out will still be hard because it takes a little extra time and extra thought to create something original. It should be your own piece. You don't want to copy, say, like Jane's essay that's on pet lovers, and Joe's essay is on traveling. They're two different things. You want to put out your own brand, your own story to tell. Give yourself the best chance of finding a spark of something special, something that works for you when you're doing it. Don't start with the weather. It's an easy way to start, isn't it? A lovely warm-up of the mind and typing fingers to ease yourself into the story. That's like something you're rushing through it, just in a rush, right? You don't want to do that. You like trying to ease yourself into a story, like spewing out just anything. Like Once Upon a Time, using this once upon a time. They don't want to read that. It was a bright sunny day. It was a dark and stormy night. It was rather chilly with a brisk easterly and a 50% chance of precipitation. Nobody cares. I don't even pay attention to weather reports in my real life. I do, because I like to know what's going on. But here lately, it seems like the weather's been lying to us. So what I do is just go out there and I judge it from my sense of smell, my visionary, and I do it that way. That's how I judge my weather lately. Ignore my hair look. It's just as one part of my morning views right now. Start with one or two things, and preferably both people in conflict. Those two things are the essence of any story. People in conflict. Remember that. That's all the reader, your judges, cares about. People in conflict will drive your story forward. Will be the essence of everything you write. So start with people and conflict on your work. What's your title going to be about? What is your first paragraph going to be? How you going to start it off? What's the ending going to be? What is your ending going to be? You're not going to know until you have a beginning. And it might take a while just to get that beginning to fit where you want it. The same thing for your title. You can make up anything. The boy fell off his bike yesterday. Okay? Is your beginning going to have something to do with the boy and the bicycle? Or is it going to be something different? Well, that lady down the street just hit a telephone pole. Well, that lady down the street and that boy riding a bicycle down the street is two different things. Which one you going to choose to write about? The lady that hit the telephone pole or the little boy that was riding down the street on his bicycle? Delivering newspapers. You can say that. You know, it's just an example. And you have to write about it. It has to fit your title. It's got to have a beginning, a middle, and an ending to it. Those are important. You want to show the two things, like I said, people and the conflict. They like to read things on drama. What happens in that family or in that neighborhood. Like if you want to write a piece about gangs or gangsters, you got to look up all the rules and know all the stories about gangsters. Learn from that. If you're doing home gardening, you're doing blogs on gardening, you want to write things or do a video or a blog about gardening, you got to have a good title, good description, a brand if you're doing it on live stream, and it's got to make sense to your audience. So far, I hope this helps you. Where the extreme conditions threaten or expedition, but even if you think your story is about the weather, it is really about the people, isn't it? People in conflict with their environment. So don't just start with the weather. Cut your first paragraph. It's amazing how many stories are instantly improved by simply covering up just the first paragraph. Your first paragraph is probably about the weather anyway. Or your brain found some other way of warming it up. Or you was just so excited you just had to tell me some crucial information in the first few lines. Could be many reasons why you wrote about the weather that first time. Or such and such. Readers are two things. They're bright but impatient. It's okay to plunge straight into your story without explaining straight into the conflict. See point 1. So once you think you finish your story, go back and see what happens. If you cover up your first paragraph or cover up your first 2 paragraphs or 3 or scan your first page looking for the most arresting opening line, it's there somewhere. You might not have realized it. It was a perfect opening line when you wrote it, but you can find it now and cut everything that comes before it. Don't write a spooky story. Most readers are not into that. It's like little kids. They're into stuff like that. But adults, my age, 46 and up, they don't want to read stuff that's spooky. Spooky stories are wonderful. Don't get me wrong. They're wonderful. But for a writing competition, they give you lots of problems. First, everybody thinks they can write them. But you should want to stand out. Second, it's very hard to come up with anything spooky that has already been done a million times. That's where I go through that back on the subject on competition. A lot of people write scary stories. There's a lot of ghost writers out there. So you're in competition. You want to find something that's unique, that's different. It's a new write that no one else has. It's yours and yours alone, basically, what that's saying. But the biggest problem is going to be your ending. Spooky things are usually spooky because they can't be explained. The supernatural curse, the face as a window, the ghost and ghouls from beyond our world. So once you reveal what's behind the spooky stuff, it feels like an anticlimax. And if you don't reveal what's behind your spooky stuff, what do you end with? You end with ... of course. That's like a pause. You don't know where to go next, ... You want to get past that ... You know what I mean? Almost 2 and 3 stories by young writers that read competitions are spooky stories. They end with a thrilling moment of danger, and then that's it. No resolution, no explanation, no fun of seeing how the character fights back or fails to just the dreaded ... I can usually guess from the first line whether a story is going to end with a ... Is not an ending. It is a beginning. If you really love the spooky situation you come up with, start your story where you've written your ... Develop it from there, and then give me a wonderful, satisfying ending that I wasn't expecting, but which makes sense of everything that comes before. If that makes sense. Hope you all having a great Wednesday so far. Beautiful sunshine, but chilly. It's supposed to be a quick warm up. Never know till you go out there and see, huh? But yeah, setting up your spooky mystery is easy. Which is yourself, you got to be your judge to first. You got to be your own fan and judge to start off with. We'll give you no credit for it. Setting up a spooky mystery, unlike anything I've read before, is a bit harder. I still give you very little credit for it. I mean, unraveling a mystery in a satisfying, surprising way. That is hard. You're going to need a brilliant twist. Try it if you dare. Fourthly, I don't think I went all in strict order. I just skipped around on some that speaks out. Fourthly, avoid celebrities or characters that already exist. You hear a lot about Jennifer Aniston, Sandra Bullock, or Jack Nicholson. You hear a lot of people write about them. They get on the news, they get on talk show hosts, and they talk about all these stars and celebrities. You don't want to write about them. There's too much competition with that. Move on from that. I was recently judging a creative writing competition for a big network of hundreds of international schools. Thousands of students from all over the world write stories. For this competition, every year the organization compiles a list of the characters or character names that crop up over and over. Most popular this year, guess who it was? Cinderella. Everyone knows the story of Cinderella. Closely followed by Guess Who, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Lionel Messi. There were superheroes on the list too, including Superman, Batman. The Hulk's one of my favorites, and Wonder Woman. They have a character of their own. It's never a dull moment with them. The Hulk and One Direction, yes, of course, they count as superheroes. James Bond was there, alongside, for some reason, the Tooth Fairy. So think twice before grabbing an existing character or personality for your story. Fan fiction is great and a wonderful way to start out as a writer. It can help you hone your skills and be launchpad for your own imaginative journeys. But it's not going to win a creative writing competition. If you want to write about Harry Potter or a footballer or a superhero or a celebrity, it doesn't take that much extra time. Imagination is what works. Use your imagination. Make up characters in your head. That's what I like to do. I like to make them up. Say like the witch The Witch with a Talented Crystal Ball. And I go from there and I write about that witch and talent and crystal ball. I get all these sorts of different thoughts and I try to scramble them around. I don't just pick the first thing. Or you can take, say, like the little index cards you can buy from Dollar Tree, and you just write out what ideas come into your head and you play around with them a little bit. Scramble around like a puzzle and then try to fit it together to see what makes sense out of it. Let's see, just right at the top of my head, let's see. Okay, I said, how'd I say it? The witch, the witch with the talented magic ball. And the way I'm going to list this, okay, I know I'm using witch in my story. I know talent is in the story. And then instead of say ball, crystal ball. We change it around, crystal ball. I just reword it. Okay, I'm going to write a few paragraphs. The witch that has talent with the crystal ball. It's still a story. It's still a made-up character. I'm not using the Wizard of Oz witch in this story. I'm making it up as I go along. And say like, okay, the witch, we're going to name the witch. Let's say we're going to name her Chloe. The witch's name's Chloe. Chloe comes up with some secret evil potion ideas. You skip a line, you want to leave the breaks through your partially paragraph or story. It ain't going to be long. I'm just doing this in my head to give y'all a demonstration. Number 1, she has to set out her crystal ball. Question number 1, she asks, who does she wants to do a spell on out of this crystal ball? Should it be her nephew? Should it be her dad? We're going to say the nephew. Her nephew name is Billy. Okay, Billy comes in. She's going to do the little introduction thing, magic with the ball with Billy. So she asks Billy, what do you want? What do you want me to ask this crystal ball? What is your first question? And of course, most of them think of the first thing is love. Billy wants to know if he's going to find love in this year of 2019. See, that's a sample. You make it up in your head. You play around with the character. You play around with the title. And you use the words that you done picked out, the characters, and then you adjust them around. And you go from there to make your beginning, your middle, and your end to the story. You see how I did that? Chloe was the witch. Billy was the one she's doing the crystal ball questions with. And it was very short. It was simple right out of my head. I'm very talented. I can do picture things. I can image things. My weakness is the grammar, the punctuation, where all the aristocrat things and all that things go. But I'm getting better with it. And the more you write, the more better you get. So if you like this video so far, I didn't go through the whole thing, but just bits and pieces of it to give you an idea in case you're stuck on a writer's block. You're stuck like ... don't know where to finish writing. You just keep using your keywords. Keyword narrated everything down. That's what helps me. I write it out and I just play around with it until I come up with something that makes sense, that's going to speak to my readers out there. And you all can do the same thing. Most of all, believe in yourself. Don't be somebody you're not. And stick to what? Writing. Don't never stop. Fulfill your dreams. And you're going to make it one day. Might be to 6 months. It might be 10 years if you're still alive on this planet. You just got to basically, the main point is sticking with it. So we narrowed down. We don't want to do no spooky stories. You don't want to write something about the weather. That's kind of boring. You want people like drama, confliction. They want to know what happens, what the ending's going to be of it. So you don't want to write stuff about celebrities. There's so much competition in celebrities. Spooky stories. If you want to learn to be a ghostwriter, do your research on it and learn how to be a ghostwriter. That's something good to do. I write about stories. Started on a memoir. I haven't completed it yet, but I've started it. And there's many chapters with it. Lots of pain with that. 5, calm down. Keep it simple. Your words are giving me a headache. You don't want to just throw anything out there. It's going to confuse the reader. Stick to what your story is beginning to be about and to the ending of your story. You don't want to jump on, say like, Claire won the fashion blog contest and Billy Bob over here won the fishing contest. You don't want to start talking about Claire with her fashion and just throw in about Billy Bob with his fishing. It's going to clash. It's not going to make sense with the story, if you get what I mean. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me right now while we're live, or you can ask at the end of the blog video. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, feel free to give me thumbs up. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to comment relating to this vlog, this video. And if you like my videos, the ones you've viewed so far, please show your support and subscribe to my channel. My goal this year of 2019 is to get up to 1,000 subscribers. And I hope you all show your love to me. And thank you, and have a nice, great Wednesday, and God bless. Bye.